Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. This is episode 171. We are coming up on the end of 2024. I'm Mike Blaine, also known as Cashflow Mike. And that is my friend and partner, Blaine Birch, the CEO of Dry Run. What is up, my man?
Well, like right before we were just talking about this, it's like, hey, holidays are here. We should be just relax. And both of us been sprinting all day. And, you know, it sounded like you had some fires to put out. I think I did 4 hours of back-to-back with not a chance to breathe in between meetings today. Like, frig, when is it going to slow down? But next week should slow down a little bit, get a little bit of R&R, and looking forward to that.
Isn't it crazy? But here's the thing to me. Next week is always one of my biggest weeks of the year, like sales-wise. It's a crazy thing. It's like people are just trying to do things before the year and before tax season starts. Yep. This week is always the least amount of sales of the year. So it's the slowest. It's really weird. The week up to Christmas, because like you said, everybody doesn't want to work. It just doesn't want to leave. They want to go.
I don't think we're going to talk with anyone next week. Like, we're basically off. And what we're hearing is everyone's like booking into January, which is good. My calendar's starting to get full in January already, which is great. But I'm like, just need to breathe. Got to take a little bit of a breath here. And so, I'm looking forward to a little bit of downtime, a little bit of biking, a little bit of exercise, a little bit of sun.
Speaking of sun, it's like 70, 75 degrees here in San Antonio today. My daughter's in from Missouri, right? Where it's like cold, it's nasty, it's rainy. She's in the pool right now. She's in the pool. She goes, there's 5 days of Christmas and I'm in a swim pool at your house. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool down there. You should move. You should move.
Great, yeah. It's and we're hot here in Scottsdale. Like usually by the latter part of the month, it cools off. Not this year. It's hot. It was great. Love. So we're, looking forward to a few days off in the heat and won't mention that to anyone north of me, but.
Big news. Did you see Rachel Barnett's message? Did you see that?
All of 25.
10 days before the end of the year, she goes, I'm in for all of next year. So, I mean, you talk about our beer sponsors coming to bat for us. She jumped up and says, nope, here's it is. 52 weeks right off the bat.
Yeah, that was so exciting. Thanks again, Rachel. You're getting the headline today because we appreciate that so much. And there was a link that she wanted us to share. So I'm just going to write a note here to put it in the show notes so that, Rachel, your link is going to be in the show notes for all of 2025. And we're going to tell everyone what you do.
Hey, and by the way, I didn't realize this. I didn't know until she told me that she has a new YouTube channel.
Yes.
And she's putting out content every single day. She's putting out every week anyway. She's putting out content. She's got 450 videos up there. So, Again, if you want to know anything about QuickBooks, you want to just learn a little bit here, a little bit there, go check out her library of videos, and you are going to be amazed at what you see. So if you want to know more about QuickBooks, dude, go. What's the link? Do you got it up there? Do you have it where we can say what the link is?
I will put it in the show notes. You can look below, and you guys will be able to see it. But I will get it in the show notes because I know it's that's. This snuck up.
I got it right prepared. There. Hey, I already got it. It's called youtube.com/@gentlefrog, right? The name of her company is Gentle Frog. Easy, super easy to remember. But if you go to youtube.com/@gentlefrog, all these videos are 2 to 5 minutes long, right? So we're not talking about investing a whole night, even though I get trapped in rabbit holes all the time. I think I'm going to watch a 40-second video and 4 hours later, I'm still watching videos. Right? So, but
funny
if
how
you
that
need
happens.
it, @gentlefrog is the YouTube channel. Go check it out. You're going to like it.
Yeah, I will definitely get that in there. And we got to thank a bunch of beer sponsors, and then we'll dive in on what we're actually drinking today. But we got Baltimore Mike, the other Mike Mullen, thanks again. Just bringing us some of the coolest beers we've had all year, and just much appreciated, Mike. And looking forward to hopefully seeing you sometime in 25.
And that decanter back there is staying in San Antonio. Don't care what happens, staying. I have to mail it if you guys don't know. There's the Mike Milan Bowl. It's when the Chiefs play the Ravens. So I hope the Ravens don't make it as far, or I hope we don't. This is the first time I'm like, if the Chiefs lose, I don't have to send the decanter back. Because they might not play.
That's a real fan for you right there.
Well, dude, they've been skinning by like that. I mean, the luckiest team in the world. They are, what somebody called them the other day, the worst 12-1 team in the league. So it's like,
it sounds all right. Yeah.
It's crazy. The last win, they dunked it off the goalpost in the last second for a field goal. It hit the goalpost, and they still scored.
It would be hilarious if they won the Super Bowl off of something like that.
Yeah.
Someone is kneeling and fumbles the ball.
That's crazy. So we got Larry Weinstein. Larry just got back from a Caribbean cruise, man. He just went on a cruise. I mean, he did not get to Key West, right? He was trying to get to Key West. Weather prevented the stop, so they couldn't get off. So he didn't get his picture, the one that he wanted by the southernmost point of the United States. Didn't get that picture. But, man, if you need a CPA, he is the cash flow cowboy. This guy is out of Houston. Check out Larry.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Larry. And, of course, Jaqi York, who's now not too far from me. She's over in
San Diego.
Where's Jaqi again? San Diego. The word escaped. I knew on the map where it was. Name escaped me. This is what happens when you're going back to back all day. So, yeah, Jaqi, it's great to have you in the overall Southwest neighborhood. And Jaqi will, you got to talk with her. Now, she does all sorts of, lawn care businesses, anything green.
Yeah, anything green. Yeah. Her whole logo is a leaf, right? It's like it's a flower. It's called Blooming CFO. If you need CFO help, if you want just advisory services from somebody that knows your business, contact Jaqi York.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Jaqi. Really appreciate it. I'm going to thank neighbor Pat because you always give him shit. So I'm going to slip in here and thank neighbor Pat for you for delivering beer to your door all the time. And I appreciate you, neighbor Pat.
Don't thank him right now, because he was supposed to bring beer down yesterday. He didn't bring it down. And then like, as we're going live, he's texting me like going, "Hey, you want some beer for your podcast today?" I'm like going, "Yeah, we're going live right now. What do you want me to do here?" And then he said, what did he say? What was his saying? He goes, "Do you want me on camera? Do you want me to be on the camera?" "Yeah, come on down, Pat. Be on the camera. Bring
come
some
on
beer
in. Bring some beer down and give a little wave to the crowd here. And also, he delivers beer to you all the time. Free beer, and you're still griping he didn't deliver it fast enough. One of these days, Pat's gonna put something nasty in the bottle and hand it over to you.
Oh, speaking of, something nasty in the bottles, that's what I'm going to have from neighbor Pat today. I've got some leftovers from last time. I'm going to go, "Well, I didn't have anything, so I'm going to use neighbor Pat leftovers." That's what I'm calling it.
The neighbor Pat's leftovers. All right, I'll take note of that. What beer do you have this week? Neighbor Pat's leftovers.
That's what I've got, right? Well, because he brought 4 last time, and I only drank 2 during the show. I'm like, because I didn't have any, because my daughter came to town, didn't go to the store. I don't have any. I have these 2 extra. What's funny about this week's beer from neighbor Pat, it's still the Ruddles imitation, from England.
From last week, yeah.
But this is how he bottled it. Look, that I said, "Did you bring Jacko from Samuel Adams?" He goes, No, that's that Ruddle stuff. I just didn't get the labels peeled off.
Get the labels off. Nice. That's awesome, man. That's even better than a plain bottle.
Is that funny? That's funny,
Pat.
Right?
Pat, all you have to do is take a marker and just cross it off, just like you do with birthday cards. Just gonna cross this off. No, not 50th birthday, 40th. There you go. And we got a few more here. We got to thank Courtney and Devin. Both you guys, appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for sponsoring the the beer and sticking with it through like almost the entire fall here. So that's super exciting.
Yeah, it was funny that everybody that got on this said, no, we're going right through the end of the year. So, by the way, you went right through the end of the year, which is like next week.
We're coming up pretty late on the end of the year, and Rachel's re-up. So far we have okay. So far we have one beer sponsor for 25, and we would love for you guys to re-up or any of you guys out there jump in, and it's like literally just, if you haven't heard, all you have to do is go to mikeandblaine.com, and it's $5 a beer. Just buy us, like, hey, $20 gets you 4 weeks. There you go. Like it is the most cost effective sponsorship you'll ever see on the planet, and it lives out there in infamy and infinitely as well on our YouTube channel and all of the other channels.
Hey, but you've been working hard for a mid-roll sponsor too, right? So you might not be hearing about Cashflow Mike and Dry Run in January, February, because Blaine has put in some work and he's got us a mid-roll sponsor, somebody you might even remember, but they're going to come back.
The work I put in was replied, sure. That was about it. But hey, I'll take it. We put some work in, and I think we got a mid-roll sponsor for January, and we're excited. We're really excited to have them back. I'm not mentioning who they are yet, but come back in January. You're gonna find out who they are. And so I know that you are drinking Pat's mislabeled leftovers, but I'm gonna tell you, I did the opposite today. Like I went to my fridge, and we were just over at the liquor store the other day, and bought a nice little set to have around for the holidays. And I looked in the fridge and I went, okay, what's the most festive beer I have? And then after a while I went, okay, also below 10%, because I just got all these high octane ones again. I can't help myself. They're really delicious. So what I got, this here is interesting. I don't know the brewery, but it's Wiley Roots Brewing, and they're out of Colorado, and it's called Breakfast at Wiley's Fluffer Nutter Latte Oatmeal Milk Stout.
Oh, that's funny.
With marshmallow peanut flour and dark roast coffee. And the coffee is also from a small business, Snowy Elk Coffee Company. So I thought that was really cool. And just it's really nice to see small businesses collaborating. So, and it's delicious, by the way.
There he is.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, go, right? Get down here and what'd you bring us? He can't hear because I'm on the headphones.
Okay. Yeah, Pat, you can't even hear it. Dark Hill Porter. Okay, so
Dark
that looks
Hill
like
Porter,
a lot of
right?
fun. So tell Pat to bend down and wave here.
Hey, here's a typical Neighbor Pat label for us right here. I barely hanging on. It's all ripped up.
Oh,
yeah.
And it's good.
He says it's cold and it's good. So, I guess you can
Pat,
hear him. You can't hear us, but
we can hear Pat, and Pat should be giving you shit for making fun of his beer, even though he walked it all the way down and hand delivered to you. So
he says he thinks he should be walking down here 2 or 3 times a week instead of just once every once in a while.
No, you full of shit. No, that's not what I said.
Yeah, he says, you're lucky to be friends with me. He's like going, I can't believe that you're even friends with that guy. That's why he's shaking his head like that.
I'm going to try to get him back tonight.
There you go. All right, so he's got to beat my daughter in bags before he can play me first. You're welcome to sit here and hang out if you want. All right, man. We'll see you in a bit. All right. Yeah. Look at it. You put Mike's full of shit sign up there. That's not what he said. He was very, very kind, very polite.
See you, Pat. Thanks for coming by.
Do you like that shirt, Red Wings? Surely you don't like that.
Well, I always did kind of like Steve Yzerman, but outside of that, not a big
like
Red Wings fan. But
he likes Steve Yzerman.
Yeah, he was a talented guy, and that's a good hat that Pat's rocking there too. I love the hat.
Yeah, right on. Is that shit funny? That's funny, man.
Oh, it's nice to walks the beer down. That's awesome. That's great. Good on
you,
you, Pat. Appreciate it.
When I found out he couldn't hear what you were saying, like, I could say anything.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were going to pull something like that. There's no way I can yell loud enough for him to hear. So,
oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right, so good. Now I got all kinds of beer. I got Neighbor Pat leftovers, and I got Neighbor Pat garbage beer or whatever.
Slightly damaged label beer, but I'm sure the beer is good.
All right, so
boy.
here's the thing. All right, so I went with the leftover beer though, because I'm like, going, this will work, right? This will still work for the topic. The topic is year-end activities. It's like a year-end checklist, and everybody thinks in a small business that year-end means, oh, I have to do my financial statements so I can get my taxes done, that type of stuff. I want you to go farther than that. I want you to think about year-end as a time to cleanse, it doesn't matter that it's just taxes. There's other things we can look at.
Yeah, for business, like the tax season's for the government, and it affects business, of course. But it's like business doesn't end, right? You can be sitting there sticking to your knit and not getting things done, and then in reality, you can set yourself up really well for 25. Just dig in, get her done, and be ready for the new year. And it's not just about taxes, right?
Yeah. So because this was in the fridge and it's leftovers, it reminded me of just like inventory, right? I'll start there. Like, I'm going to start there because inventory is the thing that kills your cash faster than anything else. It's a good time to take a look because you have to, if you're not the type of company that takes a regular inventory, your accountant goes, hey, I need to get an account for whatever you got out there because they got to put a number on a tax return. That's your cue that maybe I should take a look at this stuff. So take this time to figure out if you got some inventory that's too old. And you want to know how it's too old? How can you tell? You know how you can tell? Just blow on it. If dust comes off of it like this, your inventory is too old. You got to get rid of that shit. Right? You're running it up if it's too old like that.
Yeah, no, there's a and you have all the equations and how you analyze this, but there's a real delicate balance of having enough inventory on hand so that you're not losing money if someone comes in and wants to buy something. But there's a real danger of having a fiddle hopper here, a fiddle hopper there on the shelf, and you can't get them out the door, right? So that's I jumped on those quick this week, so.
Dude, you went right out the gate with that. So if you're new, which is weird because we're like at the end of our 4th season, but if you're new, he just hit both secret words in the matter of the first 17 minutes. And really, we've only talked about the topic for about
minutes
3
and
minutes,
43
4
seconds.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
43 seconds. There you go.
Yep. There you go. Yep. Got to do it. But it stands true if you're an inventory-based business, and you've gone over a little list before, but give a little detail on like how do you know if you have too much inventory? Because there's some calculations you can do that. And I don't want to dive into math, but this is important, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, just is it the right stuff? Ask yourself those type of questions. Do I have the right stuff? Do I have things that I don't even sell anymore, but it's sitting there? Maybe I should clearance it. Maybe I should try to move it. Maybe I should, do something with it. Try to get something out of it. Reorganize your space. It's a chance just to really reevaluate what's sitting in that warehouse. And I'm going to tell you, when I ran restaurants, it happens quickly. You just get stuff that piles up. It's a little bit left over here, a little bit left over there. I was working with a waterproofing company, basement foundation type repair company, right? They would just come back from jobs. Oh, I didn't use these 3 things here and these 3 things there. He had like $150,000 worth of stuff sitting in the warehouse just because it was leftovers from other jobs. And the problem with him is that his process allowed people to go to Home Depot first and then just deposit whatever is left last. I'm like going, it's a different way of thinking. When you're sitting there telling jokes about what you did last night and about the football game, and you're getting your job report, and I got to go to 1, 2, 3, 4 East Losey, and I got to go to we got to get everybody in the truck and going. The first place they stop is Home Depot. Well, the first place you should stop is your warehouse, and then Home Depot if you have to. But take some of that shit that you've already paid for and put it on a project.
Yeah, it's lost money. You have cash sitting on the shelf there. And then, like a company like that, you look at the end of the year and you go, man, imagine just that extra profit, that extra margin they would have at the end of the year, cash sitting there. If they had gone through a big chunk of that pile of stuff that they're paying to store.
You know, the joke I've been telling, like just in group meetings, I do group training sessions, but because it's Christmas, I connected everything to that Elf on the Shelf. You know what I'm talking about? You ever seen that Elf on the Shelf?
I know what you're talking about. I've seen the Elf, but I don't know what it's from. Is it a show or something? I'm not.
Oh, I am so glad that it's something that happened after I was already a parent, right? Because it's something they do now, but it wasn't a thing when I was a parent. It wasn't a thing when I was a kid either. But apparently you take this elf, and each day during the Christmas season, whenever you want to kind of start it, each day the parents reposition this elf in different places around the house for the kids' entertainment, but they're usually supposed to be a little mischievous. This elf is, right? It's just a stuffed animal elf, but it's doing all kinds of crazy stuff, right? But you have to move it every night because it's supposed to act like while you were asleep, he was doing this. And the reason why he only moves when you're asleep, and then he's frozen and animated during the day, right? That's kind of the thing. Well, they call this thing Elf on the Shelf, right? Because it's just kind of, that's what they call it. And I started saying, well, you don't want Elf on the Shelf. Like, he's annoying. He causes mischief all over your house. I call inventory wealth on the shelf. You don't want that shit either.
Yeah. There you
just
go.
like you don't want Elf on the Shelf, you don't want wealth on the shelf either.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't even know what it was. So thanks for explaining that, because I've heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. I just thought, is it just a decoration, and why is it so common? But
I have the dumbest facts in my head for some reason, and I'm willing to share with anybody. When I know something dumb, I tell you about it.
And now it's in my brain, and now I've added to my pile of dumb shit in my head. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's funny. All right. So, but inventory is a place you can just start. Everybody can kind of start there, but I looked at it as one of the things I did this month, right? Because I'm trying to also practice what I preach, is that I reorganized all the files on my computer, right? Remember I told you about it, hiring a guy to come do that? But the one thing I think I'm most proud of is that I put in a backup that backs up now every hour, right? So when I make changes, it backs up the Apple Time Machine thing onto an external hard drive, not in the cloud, not on the actual local computer, but it's just an external hard drive that just kind of keeps a record of whatever. That is one of the things I missed for 20 years. Is just a regular routine of backing things up, right? And I don't know how many times I've had to go back to a specific point in time because I've made some mistake or there's something that got corrupted and you couldn't rebuild it. Dude, I'm telling you, just do that. Just use whatever mechanism is in Windows or Apple, makes it real easy, and just have it just do it in the background on an external device. So if anything craps out, you at least got that extra backup. I know you got the cloud, but you got another one too.
Yeah. And it's worth doing both. Like, honestly, I have backups in triplicate because we lost a drive or two back in our agency days, and trying to recover data, you're looking at it going, well, that drive cost me because back then it was a couple $1,000 for a stupid hard drive. And then it's going to cost a couple of grand to get the data off the corrupt drive. And they're like, well, okay, was there anything in there that will actually make us money again or not? And you're basically paying to store stuff. It's digital inventory in a way, but you're paying to store stuff that you may or you probably don't need, right? Today, storage is cheap and it's easier to search, but the last thing you want to do is lose something that's critical, and it takes you days to, recover everything or to redo everything.
The other thing that I did when I reorganized the files, I created a naming convention, right? Because if you're like me, and I know you're not, but if you're listening and you're like me, which is like, I'm going to name this whatever, it is hard for me to find stuff. I wasted so much time during the day just looking for things that I knew was there, but I forgot what I named it, or I forgot how, whatever it was. So, a naming convention. And now I realize why some people even put a date in there, like just a series of numbers. It'll be like 240101, right? Which is January 1st, 2024. They'll start off the naming that way, so they'll know the date, because I don't know what it is. It makes it harder in Finder or maybe File Explorer to find the date you did stuff, but that really pinpoints it, like, down to what's current and what's not current. Because sometimes I had multiple versions of things and they were, altered at different dates, and, or auto recover or auto save did something and it put a 1 behind it. And I'm like, oh, which one's the real one? Is it what I was working on or the one with...
Yeah.
A naming convention really helps. I mean, it will save you a ton of time in the future.
Yeah, I tend to be relatively organized and with my naming, where I'm filing, how I keep, because it drives me nuts when I can't find something that I need, and so I try. But you learn these things over time. Like we we're just getting to the end of the year here, and one of the things that we were just working on the last couple of days is we always have meeting notes for either existing clients or leads that we're talking with, and we're doing demos and that. And we all write notes on those, just a short brief. Yes. And sometimes a long brief, depending if there's some real good meat in there, into our Slack channel. And so what I did is I took the last, basically 6 months out of our Slack channel, dumped it into a Google Doc. I had to do a little bit of cleaning. So learning for next year, not to be, how we do this, maybe a little better. Because the notes got better and better and better. And I did start dating them religiously every time, so I could track things easier. But then what I did is I would take it by month and I would dump it into ChatGPT and say, summarize this for me, summarize some of the top requests for me. And very interesting, because what I perceive is kind of was in there, but the way they prioritize, this is what people talked about the most. I'm like, I didn't even realize that. So it was having this third party.
Hey, go back and say that again. Where did you get the information? What did you put in?
So we put notes after every meeting, just a little paragraph notes in their Slack channel. And the reason we do that is because everyone else is always interested. Hey, what did they say there? And it's intel. It's amazing, the intel. And you can read and go, oh, they wanted this, they wanted that. And then we'd have these little side conversations, and it would help us wrap our heads around things and prioritize, and sometimes do follow-up questions and stuff. It is just epic gold, right? But when you get down 6 months, I'm like, holy cow. So when I export, I had 175 pages of stuff that's just built up over time. But I kind of managed to do a quick, hour long. It took me about an hour to sort of clean it because it was too big to get into chat. And then I could slice and dice, get it into chat, and ask it for its own summarizing and highlighting. And I'm going to slice and dice a bunch more with chat, asking it different questions. So it'll start to tell me, well, how many times was this mentioned? How many times was that mentioned? But it did a really nice job. It took me an hour and a half probably to clean it up, and probably 5 minutes to pull out all of these great observations from the last 6 months. So.
Where do you see the export at for that? Where do you export? I mean, how do you do that?
Which from Slack?
Yeah.
Okay, this is, I did an export, and an export in JSON, which was completely useless.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the top, and basically 6 months, hit my cursor, and then dragged down for about 3 minutes until I got it all. Copy, paste. I think I maybe did it in 2 chunks.
Got it.
Copy, paste.
Got it.
And then I copy, paste without styling, and just little tricks like that. So it got in. It didn't take long.
Funny? You know what's funny is I just did a Command A, and it did everything in the channel.
Oh, I may have done that. I may have done that, because I don't actually remember dragging for that long. But I know I copied it and pasted it. So,
all right. So I'm going to put whatever hell got out of this Command A into Chelsea.
The problem I had was too much.
What was
it was too much info, right? So I had to sort of slice and dice and do by month and all that. So we had it down to bite-sized enough. But really interesting. I just say summarize these meeting notes and highlight the top, I don't know, requests or something like that, and did a really nice job. And then actually, after I had this big long list of what it did, then I said, okay, take this big batch and further summarize it down for me. And got a nice little summary. It was really interesting.
Dude, yeah. Dude, I just did it. I just did Command A on Apple and asked it to summarize and prioritize. says here's celebrations of achievements. Here were the 3 top things were celebrations, technical issues from the app, right? And then channel closure notice. They think that because I'm getting ready to, I got my own I'll call it a Slack channel, but built into my website now. I got my own community, so I'm getting out of Slack and going right to my own stuff.
Nice, cool.
But technical, yeah. So I don't know how much it grabbed, but it doesn't seem like a lot because it doesn't have a lot there. Oh, that's because I'm on the free version. It only goes back 90 days.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, ours would go back indefinitely, but we do have it set to auto delete, I think after a year or something, because it's just like it gets to be irrelevant and too much, right? So we actually have it cleaning house every month going back a year and a half, something like that, and it'll actually clean it out. So,
all right, but you must really like Slack. I find it difficult. I find it hard to find things.
Have you tried search? I don't know.
I don't know.
We have we have quite a number of channels, and they're fairly narrow, and we know which is going in each channel. And then and then we have search within those channels, or search globally through Slack. And I don't know, it's only internal for our team. It's not, we don't use it externally. We use it with our team. And then there's some contractors that have their own Slack channels that we interact with as well.
See, and I probably don't like it because it's redundant to Teams. I use Teams for everything. I'll create Teams for contractors. Just a team for that. So probably that's what it is I just don't need, I found that I had too many things doing the same thing.
Yeah. And that's always a challenge. Like we try and trim back and kind of limit, but there's still a lot. Like we've got our Slack channel, we've got a bunch of junk in Notion, and then we've got our Google Docs, and we've got all the stuff that everyone uses, but they are used for specific things, right? Like, so we know it's like, you're not going over here for this. It's only here. And we've just, over time, you just kind of intuitively know where things should go and where you'll find things and where you collaborate with people and all that. And it seems to work.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I mean, it's this end of the year thing. And what I've been doing at Cashflow Mike. Cashflow Mike is a company that can help you find cash in any business with 8 simple techniques. And if you're an advisor, I've got 8 more techniques that helps you identify people's issues that you can use these clear path to cash techniques to find cash with, right? So it's all about finding cash. It's all about maximizing cash. The reason why I got my nickname is I stopped talking about profit a long time ago. I talk about cash flow, and that's the most important thing you need. I mean, Michael Dell even said it. He says we were so focused on watching the speedometer, meaning sales, that we stopped looking at the gas gauge, which was his cash. And that's one of the problems that happened early on in his company. So one of the things I've been doing for my end of year cleanup is cleaning up the app. If you haven't seen the Clear Path to Cash app, come check it out. Come ask me for a demo, because it's fit, it's finished, it's polished. It's all these things we've been doing over the last couple of months. And now I've got a whole plan for 2025 that integrates more AI. Blaine probably haven't told you this, but I think we're even going to do some blockchain stuff with data. All right. Because once we verify and give some final things, I think that's how I'm going to start storing some of the data to be able to verify and make sure that what I have and what I compare you to, meaning industry averages, is real and it's valid. So come see me at Cashflow Mike, and we'll talk to you about our future plans and show you what we're going on today.
Well, yeah, and dive in, because 25 is coming quick, and I think it's going to be a good year and a good bounce back for a lot of small business, and this is a great way to start.
Yeah. All right. So, thinking about starting though, most people that go, we're going to grow next year, we're going to grow 10%, or they just make up a number, whatever it is that they think they're going to do. I think you got to start thinking now about, if you haven't already, headcount, people, incentivizing. All of these things is a good time to just reevaluate what you're doing and then understand what you're going to need tomorrow. How you pay people, how you incentivize them. You have the right people. I mean, do you have the right people? Are you organized correctly? It's like a great time to do that. It's like almost like a wipe the slate clean type of thing. Yeah. 2024 was okay, but didn't work. and we could just start over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because it is like, it's such a it's a huge psychological thing because like I said, as a small business, nothing really changes. We're still at meetings today. Like, yeah, we might have a little bit of time off for the holidays and then we're literally back at it. I got a bunch of meetings booked. The business kind of keeps going. It's really no different than going from May to June, but mentally it is. And now there is a tax year, but it isn't even everybody's tax year. But this calendar year is a big mental shift for people. You don't fight it. Take advantage of it. Use it as that time to reflect on things and figure out how are we going to make a difference. And it's the reason to get above the day-to-day and to go cloud level, 20,000 feet up, strategize. It's a good way to mentally get out of that day-to-day and that week-to-week and actually think about the longer term.
Hey, and what I like about what you said with reflection is it's also a time to celebrate some things, right? Because we forget, we're already focused on, hey, what do I got to do next year, right? We got this far, but I mean, if you're hungry like us, like entrepreneurs, it's good. It's not good enough. We can always do better, right? But stop. This is the great week to stop and go, oh shit, we did something cool. Here are 5 things. Here are 10 things we did cool last year that I want to remind you of and thank my team for. Right. So take that time this week to do that. Right. It doesn't take much time to just say, hey, what are some things I was really proud of us?
And it's man, I'm one of the worst for that. I'm not very good at celebrating small wins. Like the second we have a little win, I'm already climbing the next mountain. Like I just can't, it's hard for me to stop and go, hey, good for us. Right. And it's hard as an entrepreneur. And it's like I said, it's not a marathon. It's like you're hiking around the globe long. It's hard. And there's so many times you get kicked in the teeth and what I started to get into a habit of I don't know, definitely in 24, it probably goes back earlier than that. But a lot of times on Friday, and we're at Friday afternoon here, a lot of times on a Friday like this, you've been fighting and battling all week, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but virtually every week I would stop, even if it was like a rough end of the week, and I would say, what did we accomplish this week? And every week I would say, you know what? We did this, had this great lead move forward. We rolled this new such and us, whatever out we did. And there's those little wins, right? And so I at least remind myself of them every week. And I think it's important because it keeps the spirit up for an entrepreneur when it sometimes can be really hard, right? But then this is a time to maybe celebrate a bigger win, reflect on the entire year. We had honestly, we had a small win. It was one of those ones I'm like, well, I'm actually celebrating this one just, earlier in the week. And so I went out and bought a bottle of scotch, and it was just really good. It's Kilkerran 12, which I can't even find in Canada. It's almost impossible to find. Yeah, I just had it over on the shelf at Trevor's. I'm like, okay, a little celebration here. I'm going to get a nice bottle of scotch, and it is outstanding. So it was, I really, but I was sort of celebrating or happy with the fact that I actually stopped and took a breath and did at least a small celebration, because I've been notoriously bad for not doing that and always waiting for the massive win at the end and nothing else matters. It's too hard and too long of a journey to try and do that.
Yeah, well, let's think about it the other way. What if you had a terrible year? What advice do you give somebody there? I mean, you definitely got to reevaluate your business goals. Because something didn't work. There's something about your business that didn't work. Product market fit, a way you're set, the people, right? It's got to be one of 4 things: process, product, people, or just making money. Yep. Maybe you're pricing things wrong. Yep. But it's one of those 4. I always go back to that. Which one caused you the most headaches?
Yeah, it's a good point that it's like, because I've had those really tough years. This one was a tough year for us. Like a lot of businesses, there are some really tough parts, and but I still look at it and go, yeah, but man, we made some good progress. We hit some of our goals. We made some good progress, but frick, it was a hell of a hard year. I think if you reflect on that, it's dangerous to dwell on it. Of it is sort of as it was a bad year. It's useful if you look at it and go, let's take an analytical look and go, how do we learn from this to improve next year? Because I've had to do a couple big pivots in my business life, and they're hard, but that's how, is when you stop and reflect and go, okay, we can see where we need to go. We can see that we had a problem here. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, it's freaking hard.
Yeah.
But if it works out and you make progress, it's a good thing. And so even if you've had a really hard year, if you're still standing, and I know not all businesses are, that's the fact that not all businesses are, and there's a lot of businesses that went out of business, and, a lot of it wasn't even in their control, but if you're still standing, you're still keeping yourself in the fight. Look at what can you learn from this year, even if it was a really tough year, and what can you take into next year that's going to help you win.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're on an upward trajectory, but I got bad news like yesterday, right? Yesterday was, remember, I'm coming to Phoenix for the big event, got canceled.
Oh, that
yeah,
sucks.
yesterday. So got canceled.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this stuff happens, but it got canceled because there's something going on in the bank. They've got the CEO, the president coming down. They're having an all bank meeting in the same spot during the same time. So it's canceled for that time, but it'll pop back up, right?
Yeah.
It'll be rescheduled. So it isn't like it's, I just lost that, but it was more about they had to move. Like, we can move that because this whole bank thing is more important.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh,
so anyway, I won't be coming to visit you. So that's a little bit disappointing news.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what's happened to me over the last week or so is that I've been able to start to audit everything. The website, like even if you've noticed on my social media, I even changed some of the things. I'm like I've got kind of a mismatch on who my customer is as I look through it, because we make changes all the way through the year.
Yep.
And I go, that doesn't align with, my Instagram doesn't align with my website now, or this, because I'm just making a change, but I'm making it applicable across the whole world, right? Meaning my whole world. So auditing those little things and tightening it up helps my SEO, helps my messaging to the customer, helps you as a customer understand who I am. Take the time now. If you got any little bit of downtime in your schedule, take the time to go audit what your messaging is to the public.
It's absolutely essential. And to be honest, like when I said we were taking our things out of Slack and we were doing the last 6 months and we were looking at this stuff, this is the first step to we're literally doing exactly what you talked about as an audit of all of this that is kind of messaging. And the approach we're taking is, first step is, let's get kind of don't go to the website and look at your website. That's not the place to start. The place to start is your customers, your customer base, and get the raw data, get the themes and get all of that. And like you said, are you communicating the right things? Then we go from there to a bit of a messy process if we start to pull all these things together and make some sort of mess of messaging and start to pull this together, like these ideas and the thoughts and the big picture. It's not crafted yet. It's not readable. It doesn't look great. It's readable, but it's not public messaging, right? And then we go from there to try and build a bit of a toolkit, and we update that toolkit. And that toolkit is just some of those description of the company, the short description, the long description, the public one, sort of the mission, the vision, the taglines, all that. And you go, okay, now, and it all has to center around who do we want to reach in 25? And what messages are they responding to? It's so important that the last thing you ever want to do is go, what messages do we want to say? No. Who cares what we want to say?
Yeah.
What message does your customer want to hear? What message do they need to hear? It's all about the customer. You have to focus on the customer and what draws them in and the right customer, what draws them in. And then we start to go through website and social media stuff and everything. So it's a long process, but it's worth it. It's worth it to do it right, because otherwise if you go straight to the website and start editing things, are you actually doing what needs to be done to attract your customer and talk with your customer?
Hey, here's the lesson I learned, early on about that, is that we were putting links out in other people's blogs, and people were linking to us and all that. And then we make changes on the website and the link would disappear because, well, we made a change. We're like, oh, we don't need a pricing V1. We need a pricing V2 page. And we would redirect all of our current traffic to V2, but there'd be these 10 blogs out there or 10 articles out there, whatever direction to a page that didn't exist. That's where you get this 404 error.
Yeah.
Right. And what I'm saying is that is stuff that's easy for you to fix, even just with the redirect. Oh, take everything that's going for everything that was going to, product V1 goes to product V2, and it changes your whole SEO, everything. All these things out there are hurting the way people find you and look at you in the search results out on Google. It's a quick audit and it's a quick fix. Take the time. Yeah. Within 30 minutes, you could change your whole SEO score, right? And the way people look at you.
Yeah. And you need to know what wording are you trying to own, and it's a massive area. But like you said, that's one of the worst things you can do is start creating new sites or new pages with a totally different address and then trying to do 1,000 redirects. Again, like, a lot of the mistakes that I see, and we've been guilty of at times, is when you let the decisions made are based on your internal logic and your internal voice and the internal way you like to talk about things and what you think you'd like to say about yourself and express yourself. And it's focus on your customers, who they are, what attracts them to you? Are you getting the message out to them? Like, it's all about them. How do they find you? How do they know that you can solve their problem? And you're also not bringing in people that you're not solving the problem for. You can bring in traffic. We were guilty of that, where we brought in an enormous amount of traffic and went, oh, shoot, that's the wrong traffic. Oops. And then it's like back to the drawing board. It just you have to be so focused on that customer. That's where 90% of your time is focused on the customer, not on yourself.
Isn't that what people do at Christmas? Don't they really focus on the customer? Meaning, as parents, I'm focused on my kids who are the customer. Everything I get, everything I do, everything we put up, the environment, the experience. Take that energy that you put in to make that person happy in your life. Partner, child, family member, and make your other customer, your business customer, just as happy.
Yeah.
I think that's what we do.
On them. Yeah. Focus on them.
Yeah. Speaking of, next week, I'm not going to be here on Thursday, so we're going to try to do this early on in the week, right?
Yeah. Monday, I think we're doing it Monday.
Yeah, like Monday.
Yeah. So this will actually be posted. Like, if you're listening to us live, that's different, but it'll actually be posted after, next Thursday. And then the one we record on Monday will actually be that I think first week of the year. So yeah, it's going to be good.
So we'll have 172 in the books for season 4.
Yep.
And then we start
before the end of season 5.
Then we start season 5. Can you believe 5 seasons, right? So next week, though, let me tell you this about next week. You've got, we got Christmas, and then, of course, a week later, you got New Year's. But we're going to Vegas. Did I tell you this next week? I didn't tell you that?
No.
All right,
No.
So if I can say Courtney's name on the radio. Courtney has always have, since I've known her, a companion pass because she flies so much.
Well, you did mention this. Yeah. This is awesome. Yep.
And she's slightly short of the goal.
Yep.
She's like going, I need a flight somewhere before the end of the year. And Texas A&M is going to play the University of Southern California, USC, in Vegas for the Vegas Bowl, I guess, or Las Vegas Bowl, whatever they're calling it. And, we both kind of, we're not gamblers, but we like Vegas, but we've never been to the Allegiant Stadium, which is where the Raiders play. And it's the newest stadium in the NFL, or one of the newer ones.
Yeah.
And we want to go. We just want to see what it's like. So we're going to go and get the mile so she can get the companion pass. Hey, don't slack on these companion passes, because as much as she and I fly, it saves several thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in airline fees, just me riding free.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you buy one ticket, you get one free. I mean, you save half your flights right there.
Yeah, that's huge. And it's worth it. And it's not like you have to fly somewhere and turn around and get back on the plane and come back. You actually get to go watch a football game and have some fun. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. We'll fly it on Wednesday or whatever it is and come back Friday or something like that. Now,
nice.
I know I got to watch Texas A&M, but the game I want to see, and I might still end up driving over there, is in Houston. It's Baylor versus LSU. Think about that. I mean, I got connection to Baylor. You know I got connection to LSU. She's got connection to LSU because she runs the bookstore there, right, with Devin. And, man, I cannot wait, Devin, to see the Baylor Bears whip that LSU ass. And I know what you guys say in your thing. You're not going to be hearing that at our game. We're not going to be doing any of that stuff. You know what I showed you?
No, I know. I saw it. You sent it to me, and I know exactly what it is. And I won't.
If you guys don't know what I don't want to repeat it on the air, but at the same time, somebody's chatting us too.
Oh, well, I should be watching that, I guess.
Hey, Pranav.
Okay, that's probably it.
Welcome. Yeah. That's probably a bot.
Yeah, that's probably a bot. Hi, Pranav bot.
But it's one of those things where I'm not going to say it here, but if you know LSU and you go look up the song Neck, you'll figure out what they're saying really, really, really fast. So LSU, band, football, Neck, go Google that. You'll be able to hear it.
Sounds like fun going to the game. So I would be completely impartial because I don't know either team, but it's football. So watch it.
How are we going to give you heart? I thought passion. How are we going to give that to you?
Well, you stick me in a hockey rink, not a football stadium. That's how you do it.
There you go. All right, man. Hey, 171 is in the books. I cannot believe we did this for 4 seasons already, man. You are somebody I'm grateful for. I really appreciate this podcast. Thank you.
This is you as well, Matt. Thank you, because this is the most fun I have every week, once a week. I look forward to it every single week. And man, I'm looking forward to kicking off season 5, and it's blown by like I can't believe. It's probably like 4.5 years because I think we started midway through here. But that is amazing. That is amazing to me how long we've been at it, and it's so cool. But I love it. And so we're just about to start season 5. We're at episode 171. And we still forget to ask people at the start of the episode to follow us and like the episode and subscribe. So for the few of you that are actually still hanging on, please subscribe and like the show and follow us, because we're going to learn to actually make that little request a little earlier in the show. But we thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your support. And thank you, Craig, who says, "Go Big Blue." So I'm not sure, is that must be Baylor, or is that LSU? I'm not too sure.
Go Big Blue. Is that, I don't know, is that LSU? Is that definitely not Baylor with the green and gold? So I know I'm looking good. I appreciate that part.
You're big and well, Greg. But no, Craig, you may have to explain, because I don't know football, like college football.
Big Blue, though, isn't that Michigan? Isn't that Michigan? Big Blue?
Really a Michigan fan, yeah.
Do they still play football in Michigan? Pat's a Michigan fan, so I'm not going to give them any. I'm not going to give them any type of at the college. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, Michigan's
Oh,
got
that's
good
right.
hockey in Denver,
They
yeah.
used to play. They used to play on the football stadium. They would make a hockey rink on the football stadium field.
Yeah, the blue bullets, he says.
Craig, get it. Oh, got it. Yeah, got it. See, I can't tell who it is. So, yeah, hey, go Big Blue. Knoxville Blue Bullets. You bet, baby. So, I got to tell you, this is one of the closest groups. If you don't have a high school group friends, right, a group of friends that have stayed together for now 40, 50 years, Knoxville Blue Bullets do that, right? I mean, it's the same folks. We talk to each other, keep in touch. They show up. If you go to a reunion there, they show up. I mean, there's people there. It's not like onesie twosies. There's a group. Matter of fact, there's a whole story I'll tell you in the next podcast about a bus trip I made with the Knoxville Blue Bullets during our 30th high school class reunion.
Nice.
Craig, good to see you, man. Thank you for listening.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.